What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Kelly here. Got plates on the Subaru. We're up here at the car wash. Get this thing cleaned up for the probably the only time I'll ever wash it. It's once in my lifetime car wash. Get her cleaned up here, take her back home, clean up the interior, and then probably jack it up, get the wheels off, and dig into this thing a little bit more. See if we got screwed buying it or not. But yeah, let's get after it. First thing I'm going to do with this old girl, if we can get her open, get this engine bay cleaned up, help us track down some of those leaks and keep an eye on them in the coming months and see if they're going to need fixed or not. I'm going to start with a can of this here gunk. Does a nice job getting all that grime off of there. Well, after fighting the cap for about 37 minutes, we finally got it off. Made sure that's buckled up if you saw the last video. Gonna have to do some fixing on that or something. Definitely don't want to get any water or this stuff in the air cleaner, but we're just gonna go ahead and liberally apply it to the entire engine bay, and we'll let it sit for a few minutes while we wash the rest of the car. Then we'll rinse out the engine bay and head on home. Get out of here. Me and that cap are not getting along. Don't want to breathe this stuff in. It's pretty nasty. Probably don't want to get it on your skin either. Hopefully this thing runs after this. Any takers on bets? Hate to bet against myself, but I'd about bet that she don't run.
Probably don't want to get it on your skin. Probably don't want to get it on your skin. Probably don't want to get it on your skin.
Just keeps coming. How much is in this can? Perfect. Well, I thought I was taking a really nice time lapse for you guys, but turns out it didn't work out. Got her all rinsed off here. The engine bay, she's steaming a little bit, that's fine. Nice and cleaned up now. That'll be helpful, being able to see if things are leaking and whatnot. Let's find out if it starts. Moment of truth. What will she do? Oh my gosh, it runs. Let's see if it keeps running. A lot of times you get water in it, something, and you get water in an electrical connector or something like that, she won't want to run, but yeah, boy. Alright, let's head on home. Ooh, squeaky. We'll head on home and get the interior cleaned up and then start looking into this thing a little deeper. Ladies and gentlemen, this thing is mint. Don't mind the steam rising from the hood there, as we just got back from the car wash. Just burning off a little water. She cleaned up about like you'd expect. It looks about 13% better than it did before, but that engine bay cleaned up a lot, so that'll be nice. I'm gonna get you set up on a time lapse here, and I'll start cleaning on this thing and whatnot. Alright guys, we've finished with our interior revival. I'd say the interior looks about 43% improved. We'll see how it looks when, you know, the 4 gallons of Armor All that I sprayed in here dries up, but she was dirty. There was some hay in the back. Apparently maybe farm use, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was used in place of a 4-wheeler or something. It's kind of starting to look that way. Let's get her jacked up and get the wheels off and take a better look at the undercarriage. Well folks, we're having a hell of a time with the recording devices today, but got her jacked up, got the wheels off. We'll start getting into it here. Looking back, it looks like there was some content that didn't get saved from the last video. Basically just looking underneath the vehicle when you're test driving it, so we'll cover that now. But starting here on the rear passenger side, the main things I'm interested in are broken stuff and the brakes, and checking for leaks. Definitely 200,000 mile Iowa vehicle. Got some rust. Thought about maybe taking these plastic covers off at some point, but don't look like there's going to be anything left behind them. Good news is the struts are in good shape. I don't see any oil leaking on them. Bushings on all the suspension is kind of chewed up, but what do you expect? And it drives fine, so we ain't going to worry about it. Interesting bump stop setup on these. And there's the suspension setup. I mean, you got this big trailing arm, little trailing arm, and then you got one on top. Interesting setup, Subaru. But see here, there we go. See if we can look at them brake pads. There you can see. Where are we at? Right down in here. See, there's actually a fair amount of brake pad left. Hopefully it's the same story on the back. See if I can get in there anywhere and look. Not much I can see, but I don't see any broken suspension components. Brake lines are rusty, but I don't see any of them leaking. Looks like we're good on this end. This one thing I had mentioned in the videos that got lost is the rear diff. Looking at him, there's no boots ripped on the CV shafts and no leaks from the differential. It's this side of the CV shaft. Same story. Those are important. And as I've already found over here, we do have a ripped CV shaft. Let me see if I can get this wheel to turn. Nope. But you can tell by it's covered in grease and whatnot. That boot is ripped, so what'll happen now is dirt will get in there and eat away at the joint, and it'll either lock up for lack of lubrication, or it'll end up breaking. But that's minor. That should be a relatively easy fix. We'll just monitor it for now and maybe get one ordered. Brakes on the front, decent shape. Rotors are in good shape, nice and smooth. Same thing, no brake leaks, no broken suspension components. Struts in good shape. Just gonna see if I can get this boot up out of the way. She's gonna fight me. You can get that boot out of the way, then you can check the shaft and make sure it doesn't have oil on it. But let's see what the other side has in store. Also, those tires. leaking air on us. I don't hear it, but definitely riding a little softer than she did before. All right, driver's side front, tie rod's in good shape. Don't see anything broken. No leaks. Brake pad's good in there. Same story on the rotor, good shape. Somebody's done a decent job keeping this car maintained. She's just a little crusty's all. CV shafts. This one looks good. That one don't look too bad. Kind of oily over there though. It might be, maybe have a bad seal. Curious as to what. That must be the steering shaft. Yeah. Transmission filter. Looks like the transmission's pretty gummy. She must have a leak up on top, I'd say. Maybe see about changing the fluid and the filter on that guy sometime. Last but not least, driver's side rear. Brake pad's pretty worn. I'd say we'll be putting brakes on the back of this at some point, but we'll wait till they start squeaking good first. Now this side, I'm not sure if that's water or if that is oil on the strut. It's kind of greasy looking. Suspension components, brakes, CV shafts, good shape. I think overall we're in good shape. Frames, that subframe there, whatever you want to call it. A little crusty, but I don't see nothing structurally wrong with it. Overall, folks, we'll get a list going of stuff we need to do, but I think she's ready to hit the road. Put some miles on her, take the dogs for some walks, drive her to work every once in a while. It's freaking crusty. Poor cars, they never stood a chance. Iowa puts all that salt on the road. Let's get underneath and have a look around. All right, let's see if I can't hit my head or get some dirt in my eyes here. Oh. Need some taller jack stands. All right. There's the output shaft of the transmission and the drive shaft going to the rear diff. See any leaks? There again, that transmission's pretty greasy. Let's get our hand on this boy here. I don't feel any play or nothing in that U-joint. Since all this is fixed in position, the front and the rear are fixed in position so the drive shaft doesn't move around like on a pickup, they really should stay in pretty good shape. I just want to check them for up and down and side to side movement, and then you can kind of feel how much slop's in the differentials. It really ain't bad. No leaks on the rear diff. That's good. I'm sure there's probably a recommended time to change the... Probably a recommended time frame to change the differential fluids, but we're not going to do that. This exhaust, let's get somewhere better. I think I might have to ditch the creeper. Ain't got her lifted up far enough to use the old creeper. This exhaust here, I don't know what this guy is. You guys can see that. Probably a resonator, I would guess, of some kind. This here is all custom. Not sure. Not real sure what's up with that. Sorry, you guys are probably getting motion sickness under here. Looks like it's factory down there to where it was, and then got some custom stuff. Now, I did already, on the list of stuff that needs fixed, stop by my local O'Reilly's and check engine light, and it shows we have a bad O2 sensor. So we should take a look at that guy and see before you go buying one. See this custom custom piping has that bad bend in it. The O2 sensor is just, that might be the sensor itself welded onto the pipe, so that might be a problem. But we can check and make sure there's no wires broken. I'd say when they welded that on that they fried that O2 sensor. So there's the connector for the O2 sensor. It is plugged in. I'd say she's toast. That might be a tough fix there. I guess we can get a new O2 sensor and a new piece of pipe if we really want to get her tuned up. Look into the underbelly of the beast. Is it bottom of the air cleaner? Yes. Yes. Very interesting. Oh God, I'm stuck. Okay. Let's get a marker here and get started on this list. Alright guys, we got our marker here. Get our list going. We got let's do a fix and a watch. We know we're going to do our regular service. We'll do our oil, air filter, and of course oil filter. We're going to do the trans fluid and filter change on her. On this watch side of things, back brakes and CV shaft, front passenger side. The O2 sensor, we're probably going to throw him on fix. You know, in order to get this thing running right, get the best mileage and the best power out of the tiny little motor, should probably fix him. Probably going to take a little work. Like I said, we're going to have to get a new piece of pipe and get a O2 sensor bung welded on it. I'd say that's what killed that other one, was the welding on the sensor. Probably not a real good idea, but it works. Overall, I think we did all right. We're in it just at $1,000. We'll keep track of what I spend fixing it up as we go. I guess the next thing will be servicing it. Oh, we should put spark plugs. I'll throw spark plugs on the list. See if that helps with that hesitation coming off idle. But I mean, it's what you'd expect. 200,000 miles. It's an Iowa car. It's rusty. Hey, it starts, it runs, it drives. It's got heat. I think the air works. The day that I drove it to work and driving it home from buying it, the air seemed to work pretty good, but it ain't real hot yet. It's about 40 degrees today. It's freezing, but I think we did all right. Time will tell. I'd love to, being all-wheel drive, it'd be pretty. Probably wouldn't be very competitive, but it'd be pretty fun to do. An autocross or a rallycross with it, just for the experience. There's a dude in town that we're all friends with. He's got one that's got like a little 2-inch lift and some Meteor tires on it. That would be pretty cool to do. And then it just so happens from another upcoming project, I'm gonna have a spare turbo laying around. Probably look pretty cool sticking out of the hood right about there. We'll have to see. I'd love for this thing to make it till winter. The Subaru that I had before a few years ago, got it in spring, and I had it broke down before winter, so I never got to play in the snow with it or anything. Hopefully this one will make it that long and we can do some snow hooning. But until then, guys, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you on the next one.